And we decided to pull it down to 500 million so that we can test run the platform successfully. Remember, we're just less than a year. And be sure that the platform will respond very well so that we can continue to push funds out to our members. Unlike the conventional cooperative where you have to save for 6 months before you can access funding, because we have external funding, you don't have to wait to save for 6 months funding, and you can access up to 5 million even as a new member. Now, all that is made possible because the funding partners have developed trust and confidence in our digital platform. And therefore, they know that whatever fund they're putting into the platform is secured. And you only need to test the platform to see the security that we're talking about. So we cannot overemphasize the importance of a cooperative migrating from offline to the digital platform for your operations, especially with respect to generating your financial reports, which is very crucial to any funding partner. Today, if we want to generate a trial balance for today, since January to today, it will take less than 2 minutes for us to get that. If we want to generate our profit and loss statement, it will just take maybe 2-3 clicks and we'll give you our P&L, statement right there. So anybody can walk in, any regulator can walk in, any partner can walk in and say, we want to do this, but can we see your balance sheet? We give them read-only access to go to our platform and see what we're doing. And if transactions are going on as at that time, they'll be able to see the update real time. For our platform, you can actually see how much loan we have given out, how much saving has been received, and so on and so forth. I think I'll stop there. I'm sure questions will bring up a lot of other issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to run it like a mystery. Not allow only the technology people to be talking so sweet. We will now move to business, and I will pass the microphone to Mr. Bala from AEA, Media Enterprise Agency, to tell us um, how they engage cooperative and how they sustain engagement with cooperative.
Thank you. So, for the question, cooperatives, what we normally do is that um, for example, like the one village, one product that we normally do, it's a project. So, what we do is that when we go down to those communities in the FCT, we do like a needs assessment on, for example, like for cassava, what we discovered in a unit in Chukuku and Kwali. They farm cassava, but they had challenges of getting improved stems. The stems, that's the variety of, and then they wanted to produce barley. So what we did is that when we found out that they did this, we found a way to get formalize the cooperative first. That's after the needs assessment. Formalize the cooperative. That's putting them together, making them, do their elections, select their escorts, and then train them on that they have to as a cooperative and then manage the cooperative. Um, okay. Bylaws, year 11. Um, then we now came in after the cooperative has been formed and they have been trained. We now had to come in, set up a facility for them with equipment, machines where they can process. So from there, they're able to to set up Gary Center. So apart from the rural communities, again, it's around the whole 6 area council. So what we normally do is that with even word of mouth come down to us from services we provide, of course, for SMEs. They register with, when they register, we pick it up by the first thing at the start point is to ensure that they are valid, which you have to screen them. That's where you come in, the documentation comes in, your certificate, having, you have the corporate certificate, the number of the members you have, the type of business they're into, the bylaws, their meetings, because it's also valid to show as a cooperative that you have documentations of your meetings. You know, the dates need inside that this cooperative, because we will indicate if there are some kind of contributions that are being made, the contributions will be catered to as well. And then there's what we call an outreach service. We go to meet the cooperatives don't come to us. We go to where you are, we sensitize you on the activities that we do. We provide advisory services where we have group discussions, where we can actually identify the challenges that these cooperatives have. After that, those that are actually in need, for example, for funds, we now go to their places of business to verify and then analyze what the needs are. After that, those that actually we know that actually need these funds get approval of these funds, and then we now monitor. We have a monitoring and evaluation policy, which we actually use an app. There's an app which we use for that to monitor those that have actually benefited from these funds, to have that kind of sustainability, to ensure also that there's an impact from whatever it is that we have actually provided to those cooperatives.
Yeah. Do you work with cooperatives that are in offices?
Yes, we do.
Okay, what do you do for them?
Like we all know, to us, we feel whether you're in an office setting, you can come from your cooperative. We provide the same services that we provide to other cooperatives that are not working. In the sense that we identify your needs. We have meetings, regular meetings, to now identify the needs that you want or the cooperative needs. Then we also verify. When we verify, that we come up with a solution to or help increase the capacity or whatever it is that cooperative needs.
You made mention of the fact that you set up a facility like Gary processing facility and all these things for cooperatives.
Yes.
What are the checklists for you to do that for the cooperative?
Yes, like I said, we do a needs assessment first. Like the one now in Kwali, like I said, they didn't have food stamps. So what we did is that, in collaboration with IITA, Institute of Tropical Agency in Abuja here, we now bought them improved cassava stems to now test run the whole thing process first before we now start, engaging the community head as well, to ensure them that we have come to the community to see how from the start to the end process, that as well as getting them as a market, not just establishing a processing center, because of course the market too is important. They have to make
So
sales.
once the processing center is established,
Yes.
look, or how is it?
No, it's not alone.
So how is a charity?
It's just like our corporate social responsibility from
So
the agency.
once you set up, you leave it for the cooperative.
Yes, we monitor. Don't forget, I said we monitor too as well. We are not gaining anything. It's just like we're empowering that community. Yes, sir. So what we do is that we try to ensure or monitor that this is in the facility properly because they have been trained on it, and then we ensure that the end product is being uptaken from the farmers.
Thank you very much. I think I'm done with you on that. I'll still come back to you. My joy is that they work with both community-based cooperative and departmental based by cooperatives. When the departmentals, like I was telling doctor, one thing I identify in Nigeria is that we create opportunity and we block the opportunity. Like Central Bank launched the 220 billion MSME fund, cooperatives were happy because the departmental cooperatives were overqualified. But when we approach them, they say no, it is meant for community-based cooperative. The community-based cooperative don't have the qualification. So what we hear is that the money is there, but it is not accessed. But my joy is that the departmental, they want to set up business that will bring them money so that they can pay good dividend to their members, can also offer some services to their member. My joy is that you are not selective. And we will follow you on that. We will track you on that. And I will follow you bumper to bumper. Please, Madin, so that on the direct debit. You know, like I said earlier, crunch. I didn't feel it because various platforms to do my transaction. Even right now, I even find it difficult to keep money because I'm used to it. Today, our cooperatives are at the mercy. Our cooperatives, let's have one house. Our cooperatives are at the mercy of IPPIS. There are some that are in offices that are not in IPPIS. They are also at the mercy of their management. And it seems as if there is no solution, but there is a solution. And that solution is also coming from ourselves. Because the question I want to ask now is that what processes do you use to engage a cooperative on direct debit platform?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hassan. As Epoli said, we also run a cooperative. So we put in vision of the market, we tested it ourselves. If you go to our website, is actually easy to do your onboarding. You just select what you want, how many members you want, and you onboard. We give you 14 days trial. If you are happy with the solution, you pay on your site. The cooperative solution, as I said, is a cashless solution. We don't want any cash transaction. We gave option to pay by yourself with your card, pay by yourself by bank transfer, which I think we can't force everybody to do direct debit. But by the time the cooperative make a decision for the members, members don't have option. Have nothing called agreement your members for direct debit. If you don't have agreement, member individually when they are registering into the cooperative, they can decide to do we'll make it as flexible as possible for the cooperative themselves. Like Skywork, our cooperative, the direct debit is compulsory. We don't give option to anybody to do other things than the direct debit. So as I was saying earlier, when you subscribe to the direct debit on the monthly basis based on the pay, the system will generate and your account will be deleted. There's no money based on the type of transaction. If it's a loan, you will accumulate the due amount. So in the system, you always have a due amount. So to answer your question, the direct debit is either a compulsory choice made by the cooperative during the boarding process to continue direct debit. To also inform the bank to stop action. Hope I answered it.
Yes, then fee like an onboarded or maybe like engaging engaging you like fee a cooperative meeting to pay before they are onboarded.
We don't have any onboarding fee.
So once they sign in, then you start making money from the charges that are made for the work done.
Exactly.
Then I when you're doing presentation, I want to hear you well. You talk about if there's supposed to be a deduction and it's not done. Does charges apply if there's a failed deduction?
Yes, of course, from our side, from the solution side, because we send instruction to the bank and the bank will also do some processes.
But
So,
I think that it will be based on success. It is supposed to be like a success fee. If you decide to go several times and then it is not done, then we will pay severally.
remember, you are not buying server. You just come one day and we connect you to the system. You don't buy server, you don't need laptop, nothing. It's just there. But behind your solution, there's also a fixed cost we have to bear, no matter transaction or no transaction. See that business. We said the cooperative is not just for saving and giving loan. It's a business, is a digitalization business, is a fintech business. So there's a lot of fixed costs behind it, which we also need to cover. My brother here is doing his own free, but yes,
Because it's government.
it's government, and we are fintech. So yes.
So in a particular month, how with the system request for payment.
We are sending the request every day, but when you subscribe to a product, you select the frequency you want to be debited. So on a daily basis, the system will go and look at what are the due amounts. If I have amount due today, the system will go and collect that amount. When we subscribe to a product, we say, I want it. When your own due dates arrive, you will be part of the batch sent to the bank. But for our system, is a daily basis instruction we share with the bank.
Why I'm asking this question is that you may give instruction that on the 26th of every month, the system should deduct. So if the system make a request on the account and there is no fund, we know that it's supposed to be paid in 1 month. Will it still go back between 27th and 30th to make further requests?
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
I subscribe to a product, and as a person, as a member, I say my own, I want it to be paid every week, for example. So in the system, when the week arrives, the system will generate due amount to be paid. But every day, the system will look at everybody who has decided to pay that day with the same instruction. If you are not part of it, you will not. If instruction is done and your account have not been debited, the due amount is still pending. So if your due amount is on the 26th and they couldn't debit it, they will present it again on the 27th.
And continue to present it.
Yes.
And present it.
Yes.
And be charging it.
Yes.
Aye.
Because we gave you option to say this is when I want to pay. We did not force you. When you are subscribing, this product is daily, weekly, monthly. So you one, we can't babysit the members.
Um,
Members are owner of the cooperative, is it not? So if you're a member of the cooperative and you commit to pay at a certain day, you need to also fulfill your commitment.
but like under a salaries setting now, salaries are paid at the end of the month. Is that not?
Yes.
And if there is a delay, that is not the person's fault. Is that not?
Yes.
System go ahead and charge, or can the cooperative send you a letter and say, please defer deduction for so period because we are having hitches in funding?
We may think about it, but as I said, comes on the 26th. You will not ask the solution to debit your account. You can decide to be debited on the second, just to make sure that the money arrives because of the delay, because of experience they are having of the delay. Now, if you say 26, or let's say you say on the second, your money come on the 26th, you know that you need to be debited on the second, you go and take the money.
And that is why, you know, sorry, the time we were developing this, when we were having discussion with you, what we are saying is that let's have an allowance of like 1 week. Is that not? Such that this thing will be hovering on the account until when the funds is available and it picks it. But what is giving me concern now is that at any time you go there is a charge. That is my concern.
You are owner of the cooperative. The cooperative is your business. They are not paying you salary. So the performance of the cooperative, we need to look at it as well. The performance of the cooperative is your own responsibility. You can't commit to something you cannot. At the end of yes, because you are also taking dividend.
You charge the member or you charge the cooperative. The member and the cooperative are like fish and water. So what I'm saying here is that we have to run a system that will not be too exploitative, according to Karl Marx. Is that not? Because if you continue to charge, there should be an allowance, because the funds remitted to the cooperative is like a cooperative that is bringing. There may be time that he will not come on. Give an allowance of like 1 week, whereby the system will search for the money. But like I said, my concern now is that anytime you go there, you want to take money. Is there anywhere? Is there anyhow we can adjust the system so that it will be on success fee?
You know the problem we have is
Why is Africa also?
we have in Africa. So tomorrow, when we say give 3 days, somebody else will come and say, "Oh, why don't you give 1 week?" And then after 1 week, why don't you give 2 weeks? And why don't you just leave it? That is where we find ourselves. A couple is owned by corporators, right? So I don't think any members want the cooperative to fail or to collapse. If you sign a commitment to be a member, you also need to make that effort to respect your word.
Saying now is that this is a cooperative in an organization, a government setting. Their deductions come from the payroll, and they have something with you that will be deducting their money that when due. Is that not? And then the authority that's supposed to remit their money did not remit it at when due. So what we're saying is that give an allowance of 1 week where you will search for this money and get it. Now, what you are saying is only applicable to cooperatives that are not in government, where you need to put his account so that the deduction will be done.
No. I'm saying, okay, so when I give you 1 week, tomorrow you also ask me to give you 2 weeks.
We are saying that
So if government is
we are saying
giving,
that if within that 1 week,
yes,
that is the success fee applies. But the charges we apply as
maybe what we can do is charge at once. But I don't think we should remove the charge. Pays you on the 30th. I agree with the cooperative to send the instruction on the 10th. You don't have to do it on the 30th. You can do it on the 10th. Now, if because the money is there, you go and take your money, knowing that you have something to be,
one house.
you have money to be deducted from your account, you know it, your salary come late, and you go and take the money, you are cheating the cooperative as well. So I think we can go
Let me
on maybe
hear
doing
Dada out here
one
because
charge,
the
but
way he's doing it like he's not on my side. Let's hear him and then we hear you from here before we move to Dr. Peter.
I'm on the side of truth. No, I think there's a miscommunication between the two of you. I think she's very clear on her stance, and you are also very clear on what you want. And she has provided a solution. So if, for instance, you are expecting a salary to come in on a particular date and it's not remitting, now the system has been set to charge on a particular date. That system will go there on that date to go and take the payment. And if there is a delay, there will be a charge for that. Now, if you know that your dates are not certain, you are at liberty to say, don't take the money on the 27th. Take it on the 10th of the next month. Or take it even on the 15th of the next month. But you are at liberty to set the time of when the money should be taken. So you are giving room in case there's a delay. So you have enough time. You don't need to bother them. They are not concerned about whether or not there is a problem. That's not their own business. Their business is to charge. But you will be at liberty to set when they can charge.
Find out is that who sent the instruction? Is it the cooperative or the company, Match Fintech? Who sends the instruction on a monthly basis?
you said the instruction is automated.
Yes.
When we onboard you, when you create a product, you are the one who defines when what is the payment term. So, and when somebody subscribes to a product, it can also decide because we are sending instructions every day. So it will look at if Atama said take my money on the 10th. When I generate the batch for the 10th, it will include Atama's money. So if Atama knows that he will get paid on 10 but he's not sure, but make sure that between the 10 and the 25th, when you get the money, you will not go and withdraw it and try to cheat your cooperative. So exactly, so give the enough gap money to be collected. But also you need to we can't control, we can't have a system to control this every day.
Okay. She has bought everybody up. Bala, are you on my side? I want to know so that I know how to go about this sitting arrangement. Are you on my side? Can you imagine? Don't worry. We'll see whether you will go out of the hall or not. Okay, let's move to Dr. Peter. You are a MSME business development service provider, and you see that cooperatives, they are hub of entrepreneurs. Business owners are the owners of cooperative, and the reason why they form the cooperative is to enable them bond and see how they can take care of challenges, issues around their business. But if you look at the ease of doing business, you discover that cooperative is not fully involved. All that you hear of MSME, but you discover that the owners of this cooperative are the owners of the MSME. So, how do you think that cooperative can come in into the ease of doing business?
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying that you can see obviously that I'm a digital migrant, right? Immigrant. And then to make
Are
matters
you a
worse,
native or a tribe?
I'm going somewhere. And then to make matters worse, I'm a nomad. By nomad, I mean that I'm a knowledge worker, and as a knowledge worker, you are a nomad. So it is my nomadity that have led me into digital migration to the extent that I am today both a digital immigrant, a digital native, and a tribe. Okay, am I not contemporary? Okay, so what I'm saying is that enterprises to strike. If you look at the ease of doing business framework for Nigeria, even the MSMEs that you're talking about, the ease of doing business is not designed to facilitate ease of doing business for MSMEs. If you look at the framework, it is designed to favor even more maybe enterprises coming to do business in Nigeria. Or the only thing that looks like it is ease of doing business, the CSC registration, automated registration process, and of course, if doing business in Nigeria goes far beyond that. The ease of doing business would have included also access to finance, Abi? And then of course access to non-financial services which we offer. It is not there. So it is mutually exclusive, if you ask me. All right. So for me, in the cooperative space, as a knowledge worker, um, what that simply means is that we are solution oriented, we are creative oriented, and as business development service providers, what we are supposed to be doing is to look at the space and look for how we can innovate stuff, innovate solutions that can help enhance the fortunes of cooperators and of course people who are aspiring to go into that space. So one of the gaps that we've seen is that when you say cooperative, young people are not included. Young people don't even want to know anything about cooperative. So one of the things that we're trying to do is to inspire young people to play within the cooperative space. And in doing that, we have looked at the startup ecosystem. I don't know if we are conversant with startup. Yeah. Startup ecosystem is where young people are driving innovations, raising funding, and investment, and all of that. And we have discovered that the cooperative space too holds a lot of, for creativity, for innovations, for technology, just like the conversation we're having here. And so we have developed a program that I've just shared with my brother. And we will talk after this to see how we can run with it. For young people, we want to encourage startup innovation, startup creativity within the cooperative ecosystem. Makes sense, right? So, and then you see, in the 21st century, the conversation has moved from competition to collaboration. You understand? That's why I said something earlier about all of us behaving as if we function in isolation. And that's why a lot of people are struggling. My sister here said something earlier that they have invested in developing a platform. All you need is come on board and they just charge you. Digital Tribe has invested in developing technology. All we need to do is plug in. I would give you a typical scenario. They are facilitating access to finance for cooperatives. And here we are with an innovative program that is designed to encourage young people to play within that space. And holding them through a process that can help them think. There's what we call design thinking. Design thinking simply means that you're designing solutions that are responding to emerging demands, not just produce anything for the market to buy. That era is gone. You know, it's about pain point. So where is it hurting, and then how can you provide solutions for that point that is hurting? So, and that's what we want to encourage young people to do, and provide opportunity for them to, because one of the gaps that we have is thinking capacity. We don't have it. You understand? A lot of the innovations we are seeing, even the flutter wave, the pay stack, and all of this agri-tech and all of, a lot of these young people came from abroad, including you. I've been alive. They came from there, but what we are saying is that from within, we have the capacity to think. All we need to do is to handhold young people through the process that will position them to be able to think, and then begin to develop indigenous solutions, you know, that we can take advantage of. So for me, it's about collaboration, it's about partnership, and arising from here, we'll be having a conversation with you, with my sister, and of course the Abuja Enterprise Agency to see how, the cooperative economy is brand new. You can imagine that if we have young people across the, so it makes it easier for us to work together and achieve remarkable impact. Imagine that between now and the end of the year, we're able to onboard 1 million young people, you know, cooperative entrepreneurs, you know, engage them and their function in this. Wouldn't that transform the space?
Dr.
Remarkably.
I want to.
Thank you.
No, no, thank you. I'm still coming to you. So, in the whole ease of doing business, what role do you think cooperative can play in the ease of doing business for her members who are entrepreneurs?
Okay, fine. Very remarkably, the challenge, I mentioned it earlier with cooperatives, the fact that cooperatives are weak structurally and operationally. And the way we can facilitate ease of doing business for cooperatives is to help them strengthen their structural weaknesses and operational inefficiency. If we're able to help to let cooperatives overcome, because those things are considered as critical growth inhibitors. So if we can help them to overcome those barriers, it makes it easier for them to run their business. So for us as business development service providers, what we have developed a model for your BDS intervention in the cooperative sector. And it starts from conducting a need assessment. A need assessment, what it does simply is to help us identify where there are gaps.
You know why I'm saying this?
Yes, sir.
In cooperative, there are two models of doing business. Either the cooperative do the business so that the cooperative make money and pay dividend to the member, or the cooperative give the money to the member to do business and put more money as savings in the cooperative. Okay. So what I'm saying now is that in the ease of doing business, you need to profile both the cooperative and the member. So what I'm saying now is that you have written a book. Is that not? Oh, you know that we don't read book like that in Nigeria. So since you are here, so that the book and keep it in our shelf and say, look at the books that we have. So tell us, how can we become relevant, the cooperative and the members, in this scope of ease of doing business?
Thank you very much. You see, I say something about the cooperative as an entity, you know, having structural weaknesses in terms of corporate governance and all of those stuff, and then having operational inefficiencies. All of those are considered as growth inhibitors. But of course, you know, the cooperative does not exist in isolation. It is driven by people. So if those capacity to drive the cooperative, so the cooperative obviously will fail.
But what do you think are responsible? Because is it an inheritance? This problem they have, is it an inheritance thing, or that it's like somebody born into poverty? Is it that as soon as you are formed as a cooperative, then you start having those challenges?
Okay, let me. I said something earlier on, sir, that part of the challenge we have is that cooperatives are not being established to run functionally. You understand? A lot of the times, you hear when government says they want to do intervention. First of all, I need us to agree that cooperative is a form of business and that it is limited by liability. So if you establish a cooperative business, you establish a business to run functionally. Are you following?
Okay, I think.
So if you don't have the, no, I'm coming, sir.
Okay.
If you don't have the capacity to run it, like you don't run it because government wants to give you 10 or 20,000 naira. That's the problem we have. These people, these Abuja enterprise people and government people, that's what they tell them to do. They just could put a cooperative and then they'll give them 10. So those are not cooperatives. Cooperatives are intentionally established to achieve specific objectives, just like digital drive. He established his own digital cooperative to achieve specific, right? Do you need to wait for government to come and give you 10,000 for you to do what you're doing? Does government give you money? And so why should the cooperative?
She makes money from government.
No, it doesn't matter where you make money from. She's a businesswoman. As him too. Cooperative is a business. So what we are saying is, in essence, that if we want cooperative is a business, like you go to CSC and register your business. That's how you go to cooperative to register your own business. So once you register a business, you must develop the capacity, the skills, the knowledge to run that business successfully.
Okay, I think Dada have something to say because he's already challenging me here now.
Very sorry. No, I'm just about to type what he's saying to the theme of this conference. When we came in, we decided to understudy cooperatives before setting up, so that we know why some succeed. There's a cooperative in Ibadan, it's over 100 years old now, over 100 years old. So we want to know what makes those kind of cooperatives to go beyond a century, whereas there are others that will last only a month or two and they will fizzle out. And you hit it on the head by saying growth inhibitors, which boils down to structure and efficiency of the system. What we observed in our study is that the cooperatives that fizzle out were built around individuals. Just maybe one strong person, and then once he's out of the system, or even if he's overbearing on the system, the cooperative will collapse. But with the ones with proper structure, with proper succession plans, and efficiency, transparency in their processes, we discover that they go from one generation to the other. I was actually in Ibadan to take a look at this cooperative, and I saw old men who have been in this business for 50 years, for 30 years, and if you look deep into the books, though they are not technologically savvy, but they have books that they keep. They can tell you who has done 1 million, they can tell you who has done 50. So that talks about structure. And they can tell you the next person that's going to be the president, the financial secretary, this person will serve 4 years, the next person will serve 4 years, and it's set. And so those cooperatives keep going from one form to the other until cooperatives decide to comply, until we comply with what is necessary, and then we do what we call self-education, or organizations like CFAN keeps coming up with training that will enhance the efficiency of cooperatives. Then we may not be able to attract the kind of funding or even sustain the ones that we have. So I'm tying it to this. Number one, compliance. Number two, training. Cooperatives must be deliberate in seeking knowledge that will sustain their structure. And they must also be compliant in what is required to keep that structure going.
Thank you very much. Sir, just before you switch, let me just what he said. You see, one of the core principles and value of cooperative is education and training. But you see, like in our every aspect of our lives, cooperatives, except for serious-minded people like you who are paid to attend trainings like this, a lot of people don't want to attend training. Even when you put 5,000 or 1,000, they will still expect that it should be organized for them for free. And I don't know who does that. It's only this Abuja enterprise people and all these government people that can do that. But see where the gap is. The truth of the matter is that anything that is given to you for free is not as valuable as something that you invest. So what we are saying is that cooperatives and cooperators will begin to imbibe the culture of investing in themselves, in acquiring knowledge and building capacity. Don't mind how much it will cost you. If you're genuinely interested in running a successful cooperative business, in the knowledge industry, to attend one training, for instance, in a Lagos Business School, you know how much? 1.5, 850,000, 900. So which, if you organize this now, come with cooperative to come up, would they pay 1.4? All that money like I won't get. So that's how we value, very erroneously on knowledge. So what we are saying, sir, don't give up. It is difficult because it's about advocacy. I told you earlier on, just keep doing what you're doing. Gradually, we'll begin to win souls. You get convert people who begin to appreciate the value of cooperative and begin to invest in themselves to acquire knowledge to be able to. You see, in the 21st century, it's either you have it or you are not. It's knowledge. So let's not deceive ourselves. Like I said earlier on, I don't say it the way it will sound sweet. Me, I will always tell us the truth. The truth is that this is 21st century. Corporators must take it as a responsibility upon themselves to learn how to begin to invest in themselves. That's the only way we can succeed. You can't break anybody's head and put knowledge there. Knowledge is about learning. I mean, I don't go with ShopRite, go ask for knowledge for chef before. He did there. So how do they get knowledge now?
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will go to the audience now. But before going to the audience, I asked a question. One house, one house, one house. I asked a question to him about what does he think is actually responsible for this structural failure and growth inhibition. And if you look at it, even taking it from the apex level, today CFAN is just apex body for financial sector in Nigeria. There are other apex bodies, but as I speak with you, they are nowhere to be found. CFAN is the only apex body that you can go to their office, and it's the only body you can find them on the website. Last 2 years, we got partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I've been trying to see how we can become their partner. But I was sitting in the office, and they came to me and said, sorry, we saw you there and we want to work with you. Last week, we also secured partnership with the Rural Electrification Agency on new is to build renewable energy facility like the NEPA you have, and then leave it with the cooperative to provide for that community. And I was telling the executive director of corporate service, I said, what about cooperatives that have estates? You build it for them, and then they manage their electricity within. What I'm trying to say is that visibility is very, very important. This structural, they are caused by the way we run our cooperatives. Full-fledged office, you will see staff that have assigned roles. So what it means is that the executives are politicians. They are elected. They are heads of departments. Is that not? Then what happens is that you will not depend on them to render the service. It is the staff. So they come to the office, they do their work, their own office work. The staff of the cooperative do the cooperative work. Is that not? So the issue of financial secretary is not there to sign voucher, to prepare voucher, or so it's no longer there. Most of our cooperatives today are run for 10 years now. We don't have office. We don't have staff. And so when you elect somebody, you are at the mercy of that person. So if we are talking about something, we have to address it immediately. If your cooperative is here and you are running for more than 2-3 years in government office and you don't have an office, know that it is not going to move further. It will remain where Like I used to tell most of them, those who are on their own, you can start with the president's shop. Some of the presidents have shop, secretary have shop, they have their businesses. Is that not? You can start from there. Even the staff of that president's shop have been doing small small things for you. And if you run it well, 3 years, you need to get a small shop that will run the cooperative, because the cooperative, like I told you, have two identities. It's a microfinance institution according to the microfinance policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and then by registration it's an enterprise. So if you have this type of statutory recognition and you are not playing according to that, then you are like a man with a broken nose who normally makes a funeral a laughing stock. Because when people are crying and he comes, the way he talks makes people to start laughing. Is that not? So, like he said, this conference is designed to answer this question. I think there's a musician that said that question when no get answer. But this our question have answer. So, to make it not to be just this angle here, I will now go to the audience for the next 10 minutes so that we can. Okay.
I just want to share one experience. When we started building the solution, we tried to understand, discuss with different cooperatives what they do. 90% of the cooperative will tell you we want to be able to do contribution, saving, and loan. So there's a mindset as a cooperative we need to correct. A cooperative is not just to do loan, saving, and contribution. A cooperative is a business. And if we don't understand that it's a business, we will remain where we are. We need to change that mindset. And thank you to Ghana for this training. We need to come for more training and change first the mindset. We can have the finance, we can have the money, but if we don't run it as a business, if we don't have a strategy, if we don't have a business plan, and we just think of saving, loan, and contribution, we will not go anywhere.
Okay. Thank you very much. That is rightly observed. But in addition to that, cooperatives are different mandates. So, some cooperatives are purely thrift and credit. Okay? And if you look at it, the reason why they are thrift and credit is because they want to take themselves out of the costly nature of the funds that are in the open market. So you discover that the business of that cooperative is to save and give out loans. So how that cooperative will thrive is that you develop different loan products. Like today in CFA now, the products we develop and cooperative are implementing, we develop a product on education finance. And that education finance is a tripod. Owners of school, workers of school, and parents of school. And what it means is that through their cooperative, they will be able to benefit. These are the three persons that make up a school. And Sterling Bank call it Edu Finance. And then we have a product on housing in collaboration with Federal Mortgage Bank. We also have a product on food, which we call Cooperative Family Feeding Program. And the cooperative make money from purchase of the food, and the cooperative make money from sales of the food. Why the members benefit bulk food. You know, bulk food, even when they don't have the money, they can take the food because we know that they can pay, so we give them expanse of time to pay. And when we do that, we are fulfilling SDG 1, eliminating extreme hunger and poverty. So we can develop products, financial products that credit and thrift cooperative can do. But another thing we don't know is that the cooperatives by law are supposed to be sectoral. That is why you see that some cooperatives are multi-purpose. They can do any business. So the idea of savings and loan is not completely bad, but I also tell people that you don't make much money from credit cooperative. Even the banks, they invest the money you give them to provident business that will give them money. So when they make more money, they bring it in, and when they invest this money, assuming you bought an estate or you a plaza as a cooperative. So if you need more money from the bank, your C of O is good enough to balance you anytime, any day. So I thank you for that observation. We need to be business minded, but we cannot be business minded by standing up and saying we want to do business. You need to be properly guided. And our partner here, G Consultant, consulting, he is a tested a person. He has set up so many businesses. State governments are engaging him. Like I used to tell cooperatives, what is wrong if we get like 100 hectare, 200 hectare, and he is an agri expert, and say, okay, Ministry of Defence want to do 10 hectares of rice twice before the rainy season will go off. If you do 10 hectares of rice twice, your cooperative will not buy rice this year again now. You will be the one selling to your members. So we can do a cluster business where all the cooperatives can key in. So different businesses that we can do that will make things work for us.
Sorry, sir. Let me just so that
Power to the
it's
audience.
a very important information, sir.
Okay.
Sorry, listen very carefully. I am a Bank of Industry accredited business development service provider, and the Bank of Industry has a 10 million naira agro processing loan for cooperative societies. But guess what? They are not getting it because the cooperative societies are not ready. They can't meet the requirements. But the loan is there, the facility is there. That's the part of what we are even talking about. I thought I should mention it. That the fact that you don't have what it takes to access to get 10 million naira now does not mean that you cannot prepare yourself to access it. So again, it boils down to preparedness, access to finance readiness, cooperative society. The opportunities for you are limitless, but you need to prepare yourself to dance in the dance floor of opportunities. Thank you very much.
Do I conclude that there is no from here? Okay, 3 questions.
And thanks to the panelists. I want to ask, sorry, madam. Yes, you are here in Abuja, so, and my digital tribe. People are here in Abuja. I don't know if we are having a representative outside Abuja.
We are digital.
So it's okay. That being said, the your platform, madam. I know I asked a question on the USSD code, and when you were answering, you said from your own, sorry, when Dada was answering, you said from your own end, the information from the person making the payment will be what will be your from your own end. But as an administrator of corporate, like the issue we are having, especially, I don't want to mention the name of banks. Yes, people make, even with their app when they transfer, you're having a reconciliation issue. Until that person sends you the receipt, you will not be able to reconcile who is making what. So, from your platform, is it possible that the person that is making the payment, the name will come? Because we will not rely on, I say I don't want to mention, it's particularly about two banks, I think Access and FCMB. Access and FCMB. It's okay. That's one. Then the second one, the financial report, people didn't talk about reports, but I'm sure the financial report he mentioned from his own end. You need your P&L, you need everything, you get it from your platform. That's possible. Please, we need to know there are hidden charges you have not mentioned. You say it is free, and in Freetown, they have made us to understand that it's free. We need to know the charges so that we don't go and put our hands, and after the time, 1 week you go, come, and at the end of the day, you have removed 500 naira from. So please.
Thank you.
And my co-participants. Okay, he has asked one of the bothering questions too. Sir, Mr. Dada, I want to know how you go about your KYC with the digital cooperative. Then my sister, I,
Nobody can pronounce my name.
I'm a sister of
My
everybody.
sister, yes.
Okay, I'm Adin. My
Karen is my sister, my sister. But when you get to Dada, they will say Dada.
so I may want to have the website address of um, your solution where I can to at least do a trial. And I don't know you still. The direct debit though, I think I'm okay. I don't know if there is a link with the credit bureau for us to know credit worthiness of loan.
Stand on the existing protocol. My name is uh, my cooperative from from um, the civil public service cooperative. We have lots of challenges, especially when it comes to funding. And like when we came on board, we had a lot of things. The funding is not outsourced and get funding. But when we have so many banks, the interest rate was very high. So I was looking at how can Sifan help us in getting credit facility at a very affordable rate so that we can pay to and to affect. That is one. I think Sifan more in trying their should be felt quite. My boss was like, we should look at it. No, go should go or should we not? Impact. What is the impact of some of the? So I want a situation see now that the trend is on so that we can be able to our cooperative society building capacity um, um, capital base. So please, I really tell us how this capital base. We need this money so that we can invest in area. We have a lot to invest in. Thank you.
Collaborative Library from National Industrial Court of Nigeria Cooperative Society. My name is Olarotimi Audu from National Industrial Court of Nigeria Cooperative Society. Sir, yes, we've had a lot of opportunities, the gains and the benefits we can gain from your what you told us this morning. With a life experience, sir, sometime last year, I think before after COVID, there were opportunities like this that some group of persons gathered themselves through cooperative society that's as a grant. They go through NISA Microfinance Bank, which they did. Forms were filled, a lot of things were done. They went for training. About 3 weeks ago, sir, I was in my car with a friend. A call came in from CBN that there were a loan that was granted, 2.5 million. Some percentage was made for equipment. It has to do with agri stuff. Some percentage were to be given to the persons to, for the payment of workers and the rest. To cut the story short, this guy was never called. The Bank of Finance Bank went ahead. They transferred this money into different personal account. One of the guys that owns the account where the money was transferred to has relocated to US with his family. He has relocated. I mean, true life story. Now, I went with my friend to the bank. What is the issue? When we discovered that the money actually came into his account, it was moved to another person's account, personal account, three different accounts in three batches. Now, what do? They said we should go and liaise with the guy, the facilitator. I now say, okay, let's go. That was how I drove from area 8. We just drove to Wuse police station. I made a formal report. We arrested this guy. He slept for 3 days in the station. He's a Yoruba guy like me. And I told him, you will go to jail. That was what I told him. We dragged him, he brought a lawyer. At the end of the day, sir, he said we want to take away job from me. I said that's what we want to do. If they can pay money to somebody and you diverted it. The manager was trying to play prank with me. I told him, even you will lose your job. That I will take this matter. At the end of the day, sir, now this guy was really, he said we should give him. We gave him to April. He even ran out of Abuja. Later, we picked his wife up. He now came back. When he came back, he started begging. Well, it's not about begging. We now told him that we don't even need the facilities anymore. Take the liability on your head, and you pay back the money into the bank. When he was not, we now took the case. Last week Tuesday was the year. He didn't come. He said he took his child to school. So they now face a case for June 3rd also. I think we need to do more, sir, to monitor, to do follow-up. This guy was not even, he didn't even aware that they paid this money until CBN came. This morning, as we were coming from home again, the same woman from CBN called. She now made a promise that by around 3, that a lot of complaints, that she will call and tell us what and what to do to make sure that the liability of that loan is taken away from this guy, and the owner of evil loan should carry his evil loan. We need to do more, sir. Let's do follow-up. More than 50 were involved in this issue, and that is how the money is diverted. God will deliver us.
Thank you. We need financial literacy. And my principal used to tell me in secondary school that if I think that education is expensive, I should try ignorance. And I always quote Richard James when I lecture people, that an ignorant people, uninvolved in the discipline of study, will stagnate at the pool of their undisturbed state of mediocrity. But study produces ideas. And if these ideas are meshed with the minds that are constantly thinking and growing, will work wonders. I will sincerely tell you that cooperative executives are very nonchalant when it comes to the issue of education, despite the fact that the cooperative principles talk about education. Some of them, we have to drag them on the ground before they will answer to the call of education. The people from raw material, you need to do more. I told you, you just change leadership. Even before you change leadership, I'm not aware. Most of you deal with the regulator. And you see that the only thing the regulator is interested is to collect your 1%. Whether you are surviving or you are dying, they don't care. Is that not? And you know that the regulator has no access to finance. It's not the regulator that is in CBN, it's we that is in CBN. The nicer microfinance bank you're talking about, they are under my committee in Central Bank. The first engagement I have with them was, I didn't know that Darlington, the executive director, banking, was sitting by my side. And the deputy governor was thrashing in the meeting. Say, you. He said, please protect me. I said, who are you? He said, it's executive director of the night. I said, God bless you. As I opened my report this morning, sent to me by Central Bank, his report is there. I tell you that I took names. He requested that I should take names to them after the COVID so that they can give cooperative people money. Relaying it on radio. Okay? So please let us do more so that our cooperative can be relevant. Because the essence of this conference is that things are going on, but it appears as if is becoming old fashioned. And you can see what they have done. I asked him this morning, I need a facility. He said within 48 hours I can get it. I say, wow, don't worry, I will come tomorrow. You know, so they are changing it now from this other. And if you look at when a cooperative say save for 6 months before you can take this thing, it's because that cooperative is still traditional. They don't have all these systems that can profile you, that can go into the system and find out who you are. But their own cooperative has gone over that. And then in terms of making funds available, the type of funds that they are giving is not their personal fund though. Those funds are funds that are available within the open market. And the open market rate applies. Is that not? But the ones that you give to your people are funds that have no cost. The members just give it to you. If you like, make money out of it. If you like, don't make money. So you can afford to give to people even interest free. But the type of funds that they have is from the market. Is that not? And the open market rate apply on that one. But the only sweetness about it is that at the click of the button, the funds are available at your reach. And I always say to people, like, there was a time I was doing a project, and the vehicle they gave to me consumed a lot of fuel. Formatic G 450, 2012. And then I told my principal, I say, God, this motor the chop fuel. He started laughing. Say, Atama. See, a point will come. You will not ask whether the motor the chop fuel. What you will ask is the comfort the motor is going to give to you. Is that not? Time will come, you will not ask about the interest rate, but the purpose for which that fund is going to achieve. Because a good business person, when you want to take facility, we analyze the cost of fund, build everything together. It is your customer that pays that cost. The same thing Dangote, Otedola, and all those big shots do and keep their business going. I think at this point, I have to thank all of you. Because if it goes beyond this point now, the members will start going out. And when they start going out, it is not good for us. Yes. So I want to sincerely thank all of you. Abuja Enterprise.